This is Israeli Technology Founders Speak, a podcast of conversations with successful Israeli high-tech and biotech entrepreneurs. With your host, Avraham Hermon. Fabian Trumper is the co-founder and CEO of arrakis.bio, an Israeli startup company which is making human collagen, the most important human regenerative protein, from engineered cells to give greater access to high-quality collagen for use in the medical and aesthetic industries. Avraham sat down with Fabian in the offices of JMB Davis Ben-David to discuss how he came up with the idea, how he built his team, got funded, the challenges he's faced, tips for startup founders, and much more. This podcast is a creation of JMB Davis Ben-David, an intellectual property law firm serving clients around the world. You have great innovations. We keep them safe. It's not enough to just have a great startup idea or innovation. If you don't legally protect your innovations, products, and brand, anyone can claim them as their own. We keep your great innovation secure. Learn more by going to jmbdavis.com. That's jmbdavis.com.
Okay, good morning. I'm here with Fabian Trumper from arrakis.bio. We're sitting in our Modi'in office in JMB Davis Ben-David. We met a few months ago and we were talking about collagen, and that's what you guys do. So tell me, what is collagen and why do we need it?
Collagen is the most abundant protein in our body. It's a scaffold that basically holds our body together. Collagen comes from the Greek word, which is basically glue, right? This is the glue that holds our body together. It's a fundamental protein. It is in our skin. It's the most abundant protein in our skin, in our bones, in our ligaments, in our joints, our eyes, you name it. Every tissue in our body contains collagen, and it's essential for the healthy functioning of our body.
So tell me a little bit about arrakis.bio and what problems do you come to solve?
So collagen is fantastic. It's the best regenerative biomaterial that we know of, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't know how to produce collagen.
So when you say regenerative, it means someone has an injury, you administer it to that person?
If you have an injury, the first thing your body would do naturally would call in the cells that produce collagen. Those cells are called fibroblasts. The first thing the body does when you get injured is start producing collagen, and that collagen serves as the scaffold for all other cell activities to start the regenerative, the healing process. That's why I call it the best regenerative biomaterial.
So what problem do you guys solve?
So we don't know how to produce collagen, right? The only way we know how to get collagen is to extract it from tissues, right? And the best collagen is human collagen.
Right. If you're using it for human applications, you want to use human collagen because it's different than animal collagen?
Ideally, you would want. The collagen is very similar. It's a well preserved protein across the animal kingdom, so it's very similar, but it's not identical across all animals. Mm-hmm. And also, when you extract it from an animal tissue, you'll always get, even from human tissue, you'll always get some residues, right? And the body knows how to differentiate between a human collagen and an animal collagen. So you're not going to get the same biological response to human collagen. So ideally, you would want human collagen. Mm-hmm. But as you can imagine, we don't know how to produce it. The only way we know how to get it is from donors, right? Human donors. These will be deceased people or placenta, a tissue that is being mostly discarded or used for research during the birth. So placenta is a good source, and human deceased donors.
Right.
But that's a scarce resource. That makes human collagen extremely expensive, prohibitively expensive. Mm-hmm. It is 20, maybe 50 times more expensive than gold.
Wow.
So the next...
Wow.
Yeah, that's like gold would be, let's say, $100. Collagen would be $5,000 per gram, right? So you're a millionaire, right? Just by weighing the collagen that you have in your body, you're a millionaire. The only problem is that you don't really know how to monetize that.
Right.
So the next best thing is animal-derived collagen. And that brings with it all sorts of issues. As I mentioned earlier, animal-derived is not identical to human-derived. It's the next best thing. It's also extremely expensive. We're talking about thousands of dollars per gram. Wow. But that's the best we have. So that's the problem. And of course, I didn't even touch on the ethical issues of using relying on animal tissue. And I'm talking about basically the food industry. The food industry. If you can imagine how collagen is extracted, that's like taking the leftovers of the meat and fishing industry and extracting collagen from that. Mm-hmm. It's like digging into your neighbor's garbage dumpster, taking the leftovers of the food and trying to
use it for something.
Use it for something that needs to be highly purified, right? You don't want to inject in your body or get anything into your body that has not been absolutely purified, right? So that's really difficult to do.
Okay, so the current process involves a lot of purification, and that's what makes it expensive?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So what do you guys offer to solve that problem?
So what we're doing is we're taking human cells, human fibroblast cells, mm-hmm. And we're growing them in outside the body, right? In an industrial process, but basically, you can think about it as a lab process, right? In vitro. So when we grow those cells, we have a unique ability or unique technology to induce them to produce collagen. Normally, these cells, when you take them out of the natural environment, take them out of the body, you grow them in a lab, and they grow happily, but they don't produce any collagen. Mm-hmm. They don't have the chemical signals. The body signals those cells to produce collagen as needed. But you get them out of the natural environment, they don't do much. We have a unique technology to induce them to start producing collagen. And we have a scalable biomanufacturing process, and that allows us to start producing collagen at an industrial scale, that we can take and basically revolutionize the collagen use in medical and aesthetics.
Let's talk a little bit about uses. You mentioned medical and aesthetics. So what's the main use for collagen today? And what are you making it more accessible for?
So, I think the potential of collagen is underutilized, right? There's a huge potential. But even today, with the high prices and the limitations of the current sourcing, it is used in a wide variety of applications. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Collagen is used to bioprint basically tissue, right? Bioprint tissue for transplants or implants, basically. So that could be when you have third-degree burn injuries, right? And you need to replace the skin. So one way is to basically autologous, take your own skin and then transplant it. But you can also use collagen to regenerate your skin. So you're printing collagen. Another use case would be surgical meshes, right? Internally into the body. Sometimes when you have a surgery, you need to help the tissue recover, and you use collagen as a surgical mesh to start the regeneration process internally. Mm-hmm. There's actually a company here in Modi'in that's using collagen to print cornea. Cornea is basically an organ that is very, it's a scarce organ, right? There are millions of people are waiting for cornea transplants. Mm-hmm. So what they are developing is a technology to biomanufacture or bioprint cornea. And cornea is basically, collagen with some vision cells growing on top of that.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. Let's talk about how the idea was born and how did you become involved in the idea?
So the origin story of Arrakis, takes back about 3 years ago, and it is based on research done at the Tel Aviv University by two professors, Maayan Gal and Lee Adler Abramovich. Maayan and I collaborated. We both started a company at the time that was developing proteins for some other purpose. And we had weekly calls, and one week when we were talking on the phone, Maayan shared with me in excitement one of the surprising results he got in one of his experiments, where they saw a significant increase in collagen production in cells.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very excited, and basically he hooked me into his excitement. I started learning about collagen, and I got into it. And I told him, this is fantastic. We have to do something about it. And one thing led to another, and we decided to start a company. I found my CTO, Dalia, and she joined us as a co-founder, and that got us rolling.
Okay, so you basically licensed the initial technology from the Tel Aviv University?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about investment. So this sounds like an interesting idea, but you need money to get it off the ground. So how did that work?
So we were fortunate to have Flora Ventures, basically led by Gil Horsky, invest in us early on. It was a pre-seed investment. And also the Israeli Innovation Authority approved us for a grant, and we got funded also from the Israeli Innovation Authority. We started around September 2023. So that was fortunate moment to get started. A few months later, everything went
chaotic a little bit here.
It got a little bit chaotic, but that was pivotal, getting that funded, and that got us started.
Mm-hmm. And you were able to get started during the war and continue
and we continue,
R&D?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What about intellectual property? You said you have technology licensed from Tel Aviv University. What role do patents play in your business strategy?
Yeah, the university puts a lot of emphasis on IP. So we got IP filed, of course. But we have a multi-layer approach to the IP. So we have that IP that we license from the university, and we have the IP that we develop in-house at the company. And we develop that IP. Longer term, we definitely see that as being fundamental, having an IP basically portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Timing is important here, having filing it at the right time when the IP is mature.
Right. You don't want to file it too early before the IP is ready to be described, but at the same time, you don't want to file it too late because I guess you have other people potentially working on it, or you want to talk about your inventions and the like.
And investors want to see your IP, etc. So
Sure.
Having that timing right is important. Having that layered approach so that we have a longer runway with our IP is also important.
Mm-hmm.
And having that cover all the different aspects of our activities. So one aspect is the metabolic engineering that this is basically where we started. But there's also a lot of IP in the process that we're developing for the technology. So there's both process and more basic composition of matter.
I see. Okay. Do you feel like you have competition? Other places, other companies that are working on a synthetic or human-like collagen?
If you look at the landscape of a human collagen that is not derived from tissue, there are very few companies out there that are developing it. It is a very complex task to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
So actually one of the early companies that got started in this field was an Israeli company called CollPlant. Scientifically, it's a huge achievement. They are producing a human-like collagen in plants.
Mm-hmm.
They've been around for 20 years, and there are like a couple of others across the world. But it's a small crowd.
I see. Okay. You're located here in Israel. So let's talk a little bit about what influence Israel has on your company being here.
I'm always amazed by the innovation ecosystem that we have in Israel. It doesn't stop to amaze me. I mean, we have world-class talent in life sciences. We have world-class talent in collagen, specifically in Israel. We have a culture of innovation, and we have also a culture of collaboration. And that makes Israel, I think, a unique hub for startups in all fields and also in life scences like arrakis.bio. The talent pool here is amazing, and the collaboration is amazing. So you want to get to someone, it's a few phone calls away, and you get you can talk to anyone that you want here. So that's not something that I can take for granted, and that's not something that I think is available in many other places around the world.
So you're saying it's like a small enough community here, at least in the life sciences, that you feel like everyone knows everyone else and you can sort of connect with other people that could collaborate with you. It's
not small, but it's small enough. I didn't expect to find all the talent that we needed, but it so happened that we have companies here that have been using collagen or developing products based on collagen for decades. So having that accessible really helps improve us from a product development point of view, right? And having the talent in terms of cultivating cells, we share a lot of technology with the cultivated meat industry, for example.
Oh, interesting.
And leading, there are like a handful of companies here in Israel that are really at the forefront of the cultivated meat industry. So we definitely leverage that pool of talent for our purposes. So Israel is a fantastic hub to get a company started in.
Okay, I guess you both have similar goals in trying to steer away from animal-sourced products.
Exactly. And the technology from a manufacturing point of view is very similar. The end goal that we are aiming for is different. Right? We're not aiming at food, replacing food sources, but rather, but if you look at the origin, right, you get collagen from animal-derived collagen. It comes from the food industry, basically. So it's the same industry that we're looking at replacing for different purposes. I think we have an easier time that collagen is so expensive and so scarce that it's, I think, an easier target to replace collagen than to try and replace meat products.
Sure.
From a technology point of view, we share a lot of fundamental science.
Yeah, very interesting. Can you talk about what difficulties you have faced as a company?
Well, the usual challenges of a young startup. It's a journey of discovery, right? And that's in particularly I think representative of a life science or a biotech company. Biology is really, really complex, and having cells work harder and faster is not really a viable approach to R&D. So you are constrained by the speed of biology.
Right.
You need to grow the cells, and they grow at the rate that they grow, and they behave, and you have to really discover in a way how to work with the biology, not work with it and not against it. It's a process of discovery, of iteration and exploration, and of course that time is money. So doing that is in the most efficient way, in the fastest way possible. That's a challenge that every startup has, and is in particular in the fields that we're at.
Okay. Where do you see arrakis.bio down the road? You're developing a product. When do you think you're going to be on the market, and where? And can you talk about that a little bit?
So we are aiming at two markets in principle, the medical market and the aesthetics market. And in both markets, we see a significant need and a lot of excitement when we talk to customers about that. In the medical market, there's a wide range of applications, and we're definitely not going to be able to cater to all of them. It's going to be a long road, but we definitely see few strategic partners that we work with, and in bringing really innovative and revolutionary products based on collagen to the market within few years. It's a journey like any development in medical space. It would take a few years, but we definitely see a handful of customers that are interested in working with us and developing those products. And on the aesthetic side, we are working with partners in developing alternatives or collagen-based fillers and skin therapeutics, and that's something that the market really needs. So collagen is a brand, within aesthetics world. This is what everybody's looking for, to regenerating the natural collagen in our skin. So aiming for that is our goal for the next few years.
And what tips do you have for founders? Let's say someone is starting out in this field or a similar field. What tips can you provide based on the journey that you've been going through over the last few years?
First thing, you need to have the right team, right? I cannot emphasize that more. Right? Having the right team, both having the right co-founders, partners, early hires, advisors, investors, right? That's the you cannot do this journey alone. Try to get as much help as you can and get the right team around you. That's fundamental. Second, get out of the office. Talk to people, talk to anyone that you can learn. You don't know what you don't know until you get out there. So as early as possible, get out in the market earlier than you think that you're ready, right? And talk to potential customers, talk to potential partners, advisors. You will learn a lot. And third, don't be locked into plans, right? You have to be agile. You have to move and adapt. Focus on the problem, as they say, and not on the solution. Make sure that you're addressing the right problem, and that whatever you're working on is in sync with all the feedback and all the things that you're learning on the way. And it's a journey, so you'll be learning and you'll be adjusting, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean that you made a mistake. It means that you're getting better.
You're getting closer to your real goal.
Hopefully you're getting closer, but it never happens that you start and from one in one point and you execute exactly on what you planned when you get started. That doesn't happen. And getting locked into those plans and not being agile and adjusting and iterating and experimenting and fail fast, right? That's key. I mean, failure is not your enemy. Failing fast is your friend.
I see. Okay, these are important and valuable tips. Thanks a lot for joining us and having this discussion. I hope we'll see good things coming out of arrakis.bio in the near future, and hopefully we'll keep in touch.
Thank you for hosting me. It was a pleasure.
That was Fabian Trumper, the co-founder and CEO of arrakis.bio. We hope you enjoyed this episode. There are many more to come. Do you have a great innovation or startup idea? We'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us by going to our website, jmbdavis.com. And if you go to jmbdavis.com/startup, you'll see we have a special site specifically made for startups to help startups protect their innovations. Please be in touch with us and find out how we can help you. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to bringing you the next episode.